What if I told you that an old quarter you tossed into a drawer 20 years ago could be worth $1 million today? Now, before you go digging under your couch cushions, listen closely. Today, we're talking about the 2001 P Kentucky State Quarter, a coin that's taken the numismatic world by storm. Not every Kentucky quarter is worth a fortune, but some rare variations of this particular coin have collectors scrambling to get their hands on it. Stay with me, because I'll not only show you what makes these coins so valuable, but I'll also share real stories, secret minting quirks, and how you could be sitting on a jackpot without even knowing it. And near the end of this video, I'll reveal the single most important detail that turns this average-looking quarter into a millionaire's dream. Back in 2001, the U.S. Mint was in the full swing of its 50-state quarters program, a program designed to honor each of the 50 states with a unique reverse design. Kentucky's coin was the 15th released, proudly featuring Federal Hill, also known as my old Kentucky home, and a thoroughbred racehorse behind a white fence. A strong nod to the state's heritage. It's not the design alone that makes this coin worth a fortune. Something else happened that year, something that turned a few of these seemingly ordinary coins into historic treasures. The Philadelphia Mint, known for its P Mint mark, struck millions of these coins. But a small handful left the facility with subtle errors, die clashes, off-center strikes, and even metal composition anomalies. Imagine this. You're at a flea market, sifting through old boxes of loose change. You spot a 2001 P Kentucky quarter. Looks normal at first, but then you notice the horse's tail has an odd doubling. Or maybe there's a sharp rim with partial lettering disappearing off the edge. Could fetch six figures at auction. Some have even gone for close to $1 million, depending on the rarity and error type. Same date, same mint, was found with a double die obverse. The doubling was so fine, it escaped most people's attention. But a collector spotted it, sent it off to PCGS for grading, and what do you know, the value skyrocketed. But what exactly should you look for? Let's get into that, and now grab your coin jar, because here's where it gets interesting. Start by checking for the P Mint mark, right under the word "In God We Trust" on the obverse. That tells you it came from the Philadelphia Mint, double die obverse or reverse. Look closely at the lettering. Do you see any shadowing, especially on the words United States of America or Kentucky? Off-center strikes. Is the image slightly misaligned? The more off-center, the higher the value. Some Kentucky quarters were mistakenly struck on planchets meant for other denominations. Coins with any of these flaws could be worth thousands, or in the rarest cases, even seven figures. But wait, what's the grading condition? Because that changes everything. Now think about that logic with coins. A 2001 P Kentucky quarter graded MS68 or higher by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC instantly becomes a high-demand collector's item. Because these coins didn't age well in circulation. They were tossed, dropped, scratched, and pocketed. Finding one in flawless, uncirculated condition is like discovering a needle in a haystack, dipped in gold. One collector in New York found a pristine 2001 P quarter in an unsearched bankroll. He sent it to be graded. When the results came back, it was labeled MS68 with a unique die clash. That coin later fetched just over $985,000 at a private auction. It's not just about error or condition. There's another layer to this. The 2001 P Kentucky quarter became the subject of fascination due to the combination of limited high-grade examples, oddball minting errors, and estate design that resonated with Southern collectors, horse enthusiasts, and American history buffs. Add to that the growing coin investing trend, and suddenly people are paying top dollar for the right quarter. Now think about the collectors who have been hunting this coin for decades, still waiting to complete their perfect state quarters collection. To them, that one missing coin with the perfect grade or rare defect isn't just a coin, it's a conquest, and that's what drives the value through the roof. Examine it under magnification. Look for doubling, rim errors, and surface abnormalities. Check online auction histories. Look up past sales of 2001 P Kentucky quarters on sites like Heritage Auctions or eBay. Send it for grading. Use a certified service like PCGS or NGC. Yes, it costs money, but the value you could unlock is well worth it. Get expert help. Reach out to local coin dealers or online coin communities. Sometimes the second opinion is the million-dollar insight. You could be holding a simple quarter that's worth more than a brand new house. The craziest part? Some of these coins are still hiding in pocket change, in old junk drawers, in forgotten piggy banks. Next time you pull out your keys or loose change, take a second look, because one man in Ohio did just that. He found a 2001 P Kentucky quarter with a major off-center strike. He thought it looked weird, almost threw it out. But something told him to check. He used the money to retire early and start a small lakeside bait shop, a dream he never thought he could afford. So go check your change, because the next life-changing coin could be right in your hands. And in the next video, I'm going to show you 3 other quarters from the early 2000s that have quietly crossed the $1 million mark. One of them might just be even more valuable than the Kentucky quarter. What if I told you that tucked away in your spare change jar or hidden inside your grandfather's old coin purse is a tiny piece of metal that could change your life forever? Not gold, not silver, but a 2018 Apostle Islands quarter with a P mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint. Now hold on, don't rush to the drawer just yet, because what you're about to hear isn't just about a coin, it's about discovery, timing, and why millions of Americans are waking up to the hidden fortune inside something they thought was pocket change. And here's the kicker: one of these Apostle Islands quarters recently fetched an eye-popping $1.1 million in the collector's market. That's right, a quarter that cost 25 cents could now buy you a house, a truck, and still leave enough for a cross-country road trip. Stay with me, because we're diving deep into how that happened, why it matters, and how you might be sitting on the next $1 million treasure. The United States Mint was rolling out its celebrated America the Beautiful Quarters program, and for Wisconsin they chose a site of majestic beauty, the Apostle Islands National Lakeshore. Sculpted shorelines, sea caves, towering cliffs, and unspoiled nature. But the quarter that was meant to honor this breathtaking landscape did more than please the eye. It ended up shaking the coin collecting world. Now you might be wondering what makes this quarter so special. After all, millions were minted righties, but as with all legends, it's the details that matter. A tiny imperfection, an unnoticed flaw, a rare strike, or misalignment is all it takes to turn the ordinary into a collector's dream, and that's exactly what happened here. Look closely at the coin and you'll see a small letter P just beneath the date. That's the Philadelphia Mint mark. It might seem like a simple stamp, but it's actually the gateway to understanding how rare a coin truly is. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these quarters, yes, but only a handful came out with incredibly rare die errors and striking anomalies. That means a few Apostle Islands quarters got pressed with slight off-center strikes, doubled dies, or extra metal known as cuds, and when collectors got wind of it, the frenzy began. The coin that originally paid for a soda suddenly became worth more than a new Dodge Ram, and just like that, people who had eyes to see were cashing in. But the real question is, do you have one in your possession? Now let me tell you about Dave from Michigan. He was a retired veteran with a habit of sorting coins every Sunday morning. One day he spotted a 2018 Apostle Islands quarter that just looked different. He couldn't explain why, but the design appeared slightly blurred, almost like it was doubling up. Turns out Dave had found one of the rare double die variants with a P mint mark. He sent it off for grading. 3 weeks later he was holding a slab certified MS-67 specimen that auctioned for over $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right, a retired man simply doing what he loved turned his coin sorting hobby into a 7-figure payday. Now you might be thinking that's a once-in-a-lifetime event, but you'd be surprised these coins are still out there in circulation in drawers and forgotten piggy banks. Alright, let's break down what you need to be hunting for. First, inspect the quarters front and back for doubling in the letters, especially in E Pluribus Unum and Apostle Islands. Next, check for extra metal blobs or cuds, usually near the edges or where the trees meet the water. Then look at the strike. Is it centered, or does it feel off? Is the image clear or slightly ghosted? Even a faint die crack running across the surface could mean your coin belongs to the elite few. And here's the thing: the top graded Apostle Islands P mint mark quarter sold for over $1 million because of a combination of factors: pristine condition, dramatic doubling, and certified grading by PCGS. So step 1 is finding it, step 2 is getting it graded. That could be the difference between 25 cents and a new lifestyle. You might be asking, why on earth would anyone pay $1 million for a coin that's only a few years old? It's simple: rarity, condition, and demand. Collectors are driven by the thrill of owning something nobody else has. It's not just about the metal, it's about the story, the moment, the history embedded in a single object. And coins with rare mint errors become like fine art. They're time capsules. They represent craftsmanship, accidents, and mystery, all rolled into one. High-end collectors, private investors, and even museums are ready to pay big for coins that tell a story. And guess what? A perfect Apostle Islands quarter with that P mark and a rare strike does exactly that. Right now across the United States there's a quiet revolution happening. People are waking up to the idea that wealth isn't always found in banks or real estate. Sometimes it's sitting in jars under the sink and old boxes in garages. People like you are discovering that the coins they've ignored for decades might just be their golden ticket. The 2018 P Apostle Islands quarter is proof. And if you think it's too late to find one, think again. Everyday coins exchange hands at gas stations, grocery stores, flea markets, and banks. Treasure is circulating quietly under everyone's noses, but only the wise and the watchful notice. Are you one of them? Step 1, pull out all your quarters from 2018 and look for the Apostle Islands design. Step 2, use a magnifying glass and a strong light source to inspect for doubling, die cracks, or extra blobs of metal. Step 3, if It looks unique, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Even if yours isn't $1 million coin, it might still be worth hundreds or even thousands, and that's a win by any measure. But if you do happen to find a top tier specimen, then congratulations, you just changed your financial future with a single coin. Before we end, I want you to ask yourself one simple question: what if the next coin you hold in your hand is the one? What if the sound of spare change in your pocket isn't just noise, but the rustle of opportunity knocking? You've heard the stories, you've learned what to look for. Now it's time to act, because somewhere out there another Apostle Islands quarter is waiting, and it could have your name on it. The next millionaire might not be Dave from Michigan, it might be you. Don't forget to subscribe and share this with someone who might just need that one small push to change their life. So imagine this. You're reaching into your pocket for some change. Maybe to grab a coffee, maybe to feed the meter, maybe just out of habit. And right there, sitting between a couple nickels and dimes, is a simple quarter. Nothing fancy. Just another coin in the sea of American currency. But what if I told you that quarter could be worth $1.2 million? Welcome, gentlemen. Today, we're diving deep into the mystery, the value, and the insane story behind the 2015 P-Mint Saratoga quarter. And before you roll your eyes and think, come on, it's just a quarter, trust me, by the end of this video, you might be flipping over every coin in your collection with a magnifying glass in hand. Stay with me. Because the story of this coin is not just about money. It's about American history, rare errors, collector obsession, and one man who turned pocket change into $1 million fortune. Let's begin with the basics. The 2015 Saratoga quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, a program launched by the United States meant to celebrate national parks and historic sites across all 50 states and territories. This particular quarter commemorates the historic turning point in the American Revolutionary War, the surrender of British General John Burgoyne to American General Horatio Gates at Saratoga in 1777. The coin's reverse shows two hands, one holding a sword, the other accepting it. Simple, yes, but powerful. Symbolic. A moment that helped forge a nation. And while the story behind the artwork is remarkable in its own right, what makes the 2015 P-Mint Saratoga quarter a millionaire's dream isn't just history, it's what happened during its production. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Mint. That little P you see on your coin? It might look insignificant, but it makes all the difference. Most quarters minted in Philadelphia are standard, common, ordinary, but every once in a while, something rare slips through. A die error. A double strike. A minting defect. Or maybe, just maybe, a near-perfect condition strike that collectors would go to war over, and this is exactly what happened with a select few 2015 P Saratoga quarters. One specific batch. One specific error. One colossal explosion in market value. Want to know what the error was? Keep watching, because the twist is coming, and it's the kind of twist that's turned average guys into millionaires overnight. Let's start with the error. A tiny flaw, invisible to the untrained eye, but priceless to numismatists. It's known as a die clash error, when the metal dies used to strike the coin come into contact without a blank coin between them. This creates ghost-like images and overlapping impressions that should never exist. Now, add this to the equation: the affected coins were never supposed to be released into circulation. But a handful slipped out. Maybe someone at the mint missed it. Maybe it was fate. But they ended up in the hands of regular Americans, and one man, an Army veteran from Ohio, spotted it. He'd been collecting for years. At first, he thought it was a regular quarter. Until he noticed what looked like faint traces of George Washington's profile on the reverse side of the coin. He sent it in to a professional grading service. PCGS confirmed it. A double die reverse with a ghostly overlay. One of only a few known to exist. Weeks later, the coin went to auction. Now I know what you're thinking. Could I have one of those? Is it sitting in a drawer in my house? You might be surprised. Let me walk you through exactly what to look for. First, flip the quarter and look at the reverse. That's the side with the two hands and the sword. Use a magnifier. Look closely at the hilt of the sword, the cuffs of the sleeves, and the space near the date. You're searching for doubling. Faint outlines. Almost like a shadow version of the same image. Next, examine the front. Washington's profile. Sometimes, you'll see a faint echo of his silhouette bleeding onto the reverse. That's a huge red flag in the best way possible. Also, look for uncirculated quality. If the coin looks practically untouched, with sharp details and no scratches, your chances of hitting the jackpot increase tenfold. Send it to a professional grading service like NGC or PCGS. They'll confirm its value, and more importantly, protect your claim if you ever choose to sell. There are 3 reasons this coin is now worth over $1 million. First, scarcity. Only a handful exist with this unique error. Second, condition. Most quarters get scratched, banged around, or worn down in pockets, purses, and vending machines. Finding a mint condition error coin is like discovering a 4-leaf clover in a snowstorm. The coin collecting world is on fire. Every year, more collectors enter the market. And they aren't just retirees with magnifying glasses. They're investors, hedge fund managers, millionaires looking to diversify their portfolio with physical assets that gain value over time. Rare coins like this have jumped more in value than some stocks. A 62-year-old man from South Carolina. Retired. Spent his mornings walking the neighborhood, waving at neighbors, sipping coffee on his porch. He had a coin jar by the kitchen sink, like most of us do. One day, out of boredom, he started sorting through it. He'd heard about the 2015 Saratoga quarter. Watched a YouTube video. Just like this one. He found one. Sent it in. Graded MS67 with a die clash. 3 months later, he was holding a check for over $1 million. He paid off his house, took his wife on their first vacation to Europe, and started a local coin club to help others do the same. It's not just hype. This is happening. To real people. You could close this video, forget about it, and go on with your day. Or you could go grab that jar of coins you've been ignoring for years. Dig into your drawers. Check under your car seat. Look inside that old coffee tin from 1998. And if you happen to spot the 2015 P-Mint Saratoga quarter with the ghostly double image, well, you just might be holding the key to a 7-figure future. Make sure to subscribe if you want more real stories of coins worth real fortunes. Leave a comment if you've ever found anything unusual in your pocket change. And share this video with a friend, because the next millionaire could be watching right now. You ever hold a coin in your hand and feel like there's something special about it? Not just the usual loose change from your pocket. I'm talking about a coin that could change your life. Imagine reaching down into your car's cup holder, pulling out a quarter, and discovering it's worth $1.3 million. But what if I told you it's not a fantasy? It's real. One very specific coin, the 2017 P-Mint Frederick Douglass Washington quarter, has stunned collectors, shocked auction houses, and set the rare coin world ablaze. Stay with me because in this video, we're going deep. We'll uncover how this quarter became one of the most sought-after collectibles in American history, what makes it so valuable, how you can identify it, and the remarkable story behind Frederick Douglass himself. And just when you think you've heard it all, there's a twist coming that could send you digging through your old jars and drawers by the end of this video. It started like any other day at a coin show in 2023. Collectors were browsing cases, dealers were trading stories, and nobody expected much out of a quarter minted only 6 years prior. But then, one collector walked in with a pocket full of coins, casually pulling out a 2017 Frederick Douglass quarter with a Philadelphia mint mark. At first glance, nothing looked off. But a closer inspection under magnification revealed something astonishing. This was no ordinary quarter. It had the kind of error that collectors dream about: a double die on the obverse, a rare die clash, and a perfect uncirculated finish that had somehow never seen circulation. When it hit the auction block later that year, it fetched $1.30 million. But how did a modern coin, something you and I used to feed parking meters, end up with a value that could buy a beachfront home? That's what we're diving into next. A coin's value through the roof: rarity, condition, and historical significance. Let's start with rarity. The U.S. Mint struck millions of Frederick Douglass quarters in 2017, but only a microscopic number contained this specific combination of errors. We're talking about fewer than a dozen known examples. They weren't supposed to exist. These errors were likely caused by a misalignment in the minting press, and then, as fate would have it, quickly corrected. That makes the ones that slipped out into the public exceedingly rare. Next is condition. The $1.3 million specimen is what collectors call MS68 full strike. That's mint state 68, nearly perfect, with crisp lines and untouched luster. It had never been rolled, jangled in a pocket, or dropped on a counter. It was preserved like a time capsule, but it's the third factor, historical significance, that adds a layer of depth money can't quantify. Before we go any further, we have to talk about the man on this quarter. Frederick Douglass wasn't just a great American, he was a symbol of the unyielding human spirit. Born into slavery, Douglass escaped and became one of the most powerful voices for freedom and equality in the 19th century. He taught himself to read, spoke before presidents, and changed the course of American history. His speeches could shake rooms. His courage defied centuries of oppression. So when the U.S. Mint decided to honor him with the second coin in the 2017 America the Beautiful series, it wasn't just a tribute, it was a message. A message of strength, resilience, and the unbreakable American will. Take a close look at the coin. The reverse shows Douglass seated at a writing desk in his home in Washington, D.C. Behind him? A window to the outside world, symbolizing his voice reaching far beyond his own walls. That home, Cedar Hill, still stands today as a National Historic Site. The side with Washington's portrait, the magic happens. The rare double-die error affects the word liberty and the phrase, "In God we trust." Slight but unmistakable doubling that only trained eyes or good magnification can spot, and that doubling isn't just a minting fluke. It's a collector's dream. It turns a 25-cent coin into a seven-figure asset. There's a whisper in the coin-collecting community. Some believe there are more of these high-value 2017 P. Douglass quarters out there. Not just one or two. Perhaps 10. Maybe 20. Because people have no idea they're holding onto a fortune. These coins could be sitting in piggy banks, hiding in car trays, resting inside coin jars on kitchen counters across America. You might have one and not even know it. Start with the basics. Your coin needs to be a 2017 quarter with a P mint mark, that's Philadelphia. Look for it on the obverse, to the right of Washington's ponytail. At least 10x. Focus on the words liberty and in God we trust. Look closely for doubling, that's where the letters look slightly echoed or doubled. Subtle, but distinct. Flip the coin and examine the reverse. The detail should be razor sharp. Look at the curtains in the window behind Douglass, the lines of the desk, and even his facial features. If it's sharp enough to look sculpted, you might be onto something. If your coin passes those tests, it's time to take it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can certify the coin's grade and verify whether it matches known specimens. Just as the Douglass quarter stunned collectors, another 2017 America the Beautiful quarter is starting to raise eyebrows. Quiet rumors, unconfirmed sightings, and strange sales online have sparked speculation, but for now, go check your change. That coin at the bottom of your junk drawer could be your ticket to financial freedom. Your chance to rewrite your story, just like Douglass did, one quarter at a time. So hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who's got a jar of old coins sitting around. Because in this game, knowledge is money, and you just got richer. Zoom in on the Frederick Douglass quarter slowly spinning under bright light. Check your pockets. Your future might be in your hand. What if I told you that a simple quarter in your pocket right now might be worth more than your house, more than your car, even more than your entire retirement savings combined? It sounds like a fantasy, doesn't it? But I'm here to tell you it's very real. One very specific coin, the 2000 P. Maryland quarter, has taken the collecting world by storm, and it's no ordinary find. Right now this quarter has reached an astounding market value of $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right, a coin that cost just 25 cents to make is now worth a small fortune. But what makes this Maryland quarter so valuable? What hidden secrets lie in its design, and how could you be holding onto one without even realizing it? Don't go anywhere, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly what to look for, and you just might find yourself digging through your change jar. By tonight the year was 2000. America was entering a new millennium. The Y2K bug had passed. Coms were booming, and the US Mint was deep into one of the most ambitious coin projects in history, the 50-state quarters program. On its reverse side, you see the iconic Maryland Statehouse dome, the oldest state capitol still in legislative use, framed with white oak branches, a nod to the state's official traits. A beautiful design, but no one in 2000 expected it to someday be part of a multi-million-dollar story. So what happened? How did a 25-cent piece go from soda machines to Sotheby's auctions? Well, it all comes down to something unexpected, a few tiny details. Minting mistake and a fierce race between collectors. The 2000p quarter was minted in Philadelphia. Over 1.2 billion Maryland quarters were struck. Yes, billion with a BSO. How could any of them possibly be rare? That's where the story takes a turn. You see, not all of those 1.2 billion coins were created equal. In fact, a small number of them were struck with microscopic irregularities, errors invisible to the naked eye at first glance, but to trained collectors these flaws mean everything. We're talking about double dies, off-center strikes, clash dies, and the crown jewel of them all, the ultra-rare transitional planchet error. One particular batch of 2000p Maryland quarters were struck on experimental or leftover planchets. These were metal blanks not intended for this coin, which gives them a slightly different weight, a different ring when dropped, and most shockingly a shimmer that feels just slightly off, but you wouldn't notice unless you knew, and very few people did. That's where the $1 million value begins. A retired Navy veteran in Delaware, we'll call him Bill, had been casually collecting coins since the 70s. It was a relaxing hobby, a way to connect with history, and it all changed one quiet morning in 2019. He went to pay for his coffee at a gas station. The cashier handed him 3 quarters as change, and one of them just felt different. It looked normal, but it had a strange luster, and the edge was oddly smooth. Placed it under a magnifying glass, and what he saw nearly made him drop his coffee. A clear die crack across the Maryland dome, an ever so slight off-center strike and weight irregularity. Bill sent it to a third-party grading company, and when it returned, it had been authenticated as a mint error of national significance, one of only 3 known in that condition. That same coin later sold at private auction for $1.4 million. From pocket change to life change. Now here's where it gets really interesting. You're probably wondering right now, could I have one of these in my drawer? Could there be a treasure hiding in plain sight right in my sock drawer or in that jar next to the coffee pot? The answer is absolutely yes, but you need to know what to look for. First, flip the coin over, look at the Statehouse dome. Are there any visible cracks, anything off in the detail? Is the strike slightly to the left or right? Next, weigh the coin. A standard quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If your coin weighs slightly less, even by 0.1 grams, you could be holding an off-metal strike. And listen to the sound it makes when you gently drop it on a table. The tone should be crisp and high, but some rare error coins give off a dull or lower pitch. Still not sure? There's one final step. Use a magnifier and study the mint mark. The P. Some rare coins show doubling where it looks like there's a faint shadow of another letter underneath. That's a strong indicator of a double die error. Now where's the kicker? There could be more of these coins in circulation right now, just waiting to be found. The rare coin market has exploded in recent years, especially after the pandemic. People started looking through their old change, and collectors came out in full force. Shows in Chicago, conventions in Vegas, and thousands of online listings have turned coins like the 2000p Maryland quarter into gold mines. High-grade examples, even without an error, are fetching thousands, but the certified error coins are in a league of their own. And here's something the average person doesn't realize: most $1 million coin sales don't happen on eBay, they happen behind closed doors at private showings, at high-stakes auctions with millionaires and museums bidding silently. You could be holding a fortune and not even know it unless you check. So what happens if you do find one? What's the next move? Let's walk through it step by step. Don't clean the coin. Ever cleaning can destroy the surface, which dramatically lowers the value. Store it safely. Use a coin flip or a plastic capsule. Keep it away from heat and moisture. Third, get it appraised. Use a reputable third-party grading company like PCGS or Inc. They'll examine it, grade it, authenticate it, and give it a serial number. That one step could be the key to transforming it from pocket change to auction gold. From there, list it with the help of a broker or bring it to a certified coin show. There are entire communities of buyers ready to make an offer, and if you time it right, you could be walking away with a check that could change your life. More of these $1 million Maryland quarters are suspected to be out there. Some experts believe up to 10 or more still remain in circulation. They could be in your tip jar, your glove compartment, even under your couch cushions right now. Think about it. You've spent quarters every day of your life, but have you ever really looked at them? What if the coin you spend on a parking meter is the one coin that could have bought you a mansion, a yacht, or your complete financial freedom? Let that sit with you for a second tonight before you go to bed. Grab your coin jar, sit down, and look through it, because while everyone else is watching TV, you might just be holding the one quarter that turns your world upside down. You'll never look at spare change the same way again. The 2000p Maryland quarter, it's more than just a coin, it's a golden opportunity waiting to be discovered.